Today, you'll learn 20 advanced English words to sound more fluent instantly. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our first word, quandary. Listen to that pronunciation, quandary, quandary. This is a difficult situation or dilemma. For example, I'm in a quandary about whether to take the new job or stay where I am. So that's the difficult situation, the dilemma, the quandary. Now, quandary is a noun, so you still need the rest of the sentence structure. To be in a quandary is one option. You could also say Sarah found herself in a quandary. So to find oneself in a, because it's a noun, a quandary, when both her friends asked her to help at the same time. Which friend do I help? That's the dilemma.
Yes, this is a quandary.
The manager's quandary was whether to invest in new equipment or hire more staff. Or maybe you might say, I was in a quandary in the past simple. I was in a quandary about how to improve my English until I found JForrest English. Hopefully you're saying that. So put that's right, put that's right in the comments. And don't worry about taking notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Let's review ruckus. Notice that pronunciation? Ruckus. The N sound is unstressed. Ruckus. Ruckus. This is a noisy commotion or disturbance. The kids caused quite a ruckus. So again, you need a verb, to cause a ruckus, and then quite a ruckus intensifies it. The kids caused quite a ruckus when they found out the pool was closed. So they started screaming, yelling, making noise, a ruckus.
It's quite a ruckus.
Or there was a ruckus, to be a ruckus. There was a ruckus in the hallway after someone pulled the fire alarm. You can imagine all the noise, all the commotion, a ruckus. Or you can say to your kids, your friends, your coworkers, stop making such a ruckus. People are trying to work here. Let's review whim. Whim. This is one I use a lot. It's a sudden and impulsive decision. Let's review that sentence structure. On a whim. On a whim. We decided to drive to the beach for the day.
I buy you flowers on a whim.
So we didn't plan it. It was impulsive. She bought the dress on a whim. She didn't really think about how much it was or when she would wear it. She just bought it on a whim, even though she didn't really need it. His sudden trip to Europe was just another one of his whims. Now, whim is a noun. One of his, you need a plural. One of his whims. Let's review glitch. Glitch. Do you know this one? It's a minor error or malfunction. You've probably experienced this maybe today. There's a glitch. There is a glitch, a minor error or malfunction in the software that's causing the program to crash.
Yeah, there's a glitch.
Or everything was running smoothly until we hit a minor glitch in the system. So if you hit a glitch, it means you encounter it and it's sudden and unexpected. Or you might say the flight was delayed due to a technical glitch. So a glitch and then technical is the adjective. What type of glitch? An error related to technology, a technical glitch with the plane. Let's review stroll, another one that's part of my daily speech, but it's more advanced, of simply saying a leisurely walk. Stroll is the word choice. We took a nice stroll. So notice you can take a stroll and then nice describes what type of stroll. We took a nice stroll through the park after dinner. Or she likes to go for a stroll. You can go for a stroll around the neighborhood to clear her mind.
Let's go for a stroll.
Or review this one. She likes to stroll around the neighborhood to clear her mind. What's the difference? Well, in this sentence, she likes to stroll. Stroll is a verb and it's in the infinitive. So you can use it as a noun or a verb. Now, speaking of verbs, let's move on to scrutinize. Scrutinize. Native speakers will often drop that T and form a flap T, and it will sound like scrutinize. So you may hear that, scrutinize, or more enunciated, scrutinize. This means to examine something closely and carefully. The accountant scrutinized the financial reports for any errors. So it sounds stronger than simply saying reviewed. Or someone might say to you, you need to scrutinize the contract carefully before signing it. Again, stronger than saying review, and it instantly sounds more advanced. In the negative, you might say, my boss scrutinizes my every move. My every move means everything I do.
What are we supposed to do? Scrutinize every little thing?
And notice this is in the present simple. My boss scrutinizes. So it shows that it's a routine action. Let's move on to dwindle. Dwindle. This means to gradually decrease or diminish. It sounds more advanced. The crowd began to dwindle as the concert came to an end. Or her savings dwindled after she lost her job. So they started going down and they kept going down gradually. Or you can say interest in the project is dwindling. Notice this is in the present continuous. This is a verb, so you need to conjugate it. And our subject is interest. Interest is dwindling.
An interest in the tour has dwindled nearly to nothing.
Let's review nudge. This is a great verb. It means to physically push or encourage someone or something, but you do it gently. And that's why I just went like this, because that would be a nudge. She nudged him to remind him it was his turn to speak.
Let's nudge some people.
So if someone is sitting beside me and I go like this, that would be me nudging the person. And it's for a specific purpose. It acts as a reminder. Or remember, you can use this with something. He nudged the door open just enough to peek inside. Whenever I'm in public, I don't open doors with my hands because of germs. I try to nudge the door with this part of my body. Now remember, you can use this to mean encourage. I needed someone to nudge me into making the decision I'd been avoiding. So to encourage me. So it can be physical or just words of encouragement. Let's review scoff. Scoff. This means to mock or show contempt. For example, he scoffed at the idea of working overtime on the weekend. So he showed contempt, that he wasn't happy for it. So you can scoff at something, at the idea. Now you can certainly say this word in your speech to explain how someone reacted. I shared my idea and he scoffed at me, or he scoffed at it, the idea. But this is often just a sound effect that someone makes in reaction to something. So if I say to my students, I'm quitting YouTube, you might say, "Ugh," and make a sound effect. Rather than just using the word scoff, you can show it by making a sound effect or a reaction. Ugh. I'm sure the same concept exists in your native language as well. Let's review some more examples where you would say it verbally. My father scoffed when I shared my idea to start my own business. So that is how he reacted. Or she scoffed when I told her I was thinking about running a marathon. It shows how she reacted in a negative way. Let's review dodge. This means to avoid something. Now it can be physical. You can physically move your body to avoid a ball hitting you, but it can be figurative as well. For example, he managed to dodge the question by changing the subject. So it's not that he moved his body to avoid the question. He avoided it, he dodged it by changing the subject. It's a good strategy. Or physically, she quickly dodged out of the way to avoid being hit by the ball.
Dodge this.
Or someone might say to you, you can't keep dodging responsibility. So here it's in the ing form because of keep. You can't keep dodging responsibility, avoiding. You need to address the problem. Let's review some advanced adverbs. Implicitly. Implicitly. This is in a way that is understood without being directly stated. For example, I implicitly trust her to make the right decision. I trust her even though there isn't some formal agreement of trust. It's just implicit.
Officers, I trust him implicitly.
The instructions implicitly suggested. So remember, as an adverb is going to modify a verb, in this case, suggested, but without directly saying. The instructions implicitly suggested that we should wait for further notice. Or by signing the contract, you implicitly agree to the terms and conditions. Let's review zealously. Zealously. This means with great passion or enthusiasm.
Zealously represent your client?
She zealously promoted the new product to every customer who walked in. Again, the verb that's being modified is promoted. He worked zealously to finish the project ahead of schedule. Or the volunteers zealously organized the charity event, ensuring every detail was perfect. So this is a great adverb to show your passion and enthusiasm. Let's review lavishly. Lavishly. This means in an extravagant or excessive manner. They decorated the venue lavishly. So how did they decorate the venue? There's your adverb. Lavishly for the wedding. The company spent lavishly on its annual holiday party.
Oh, quite the lavish employers, aren't you?
She praised her team lavishly for their hard work and dedication. So this can be positive or negative depending on the context. Let's review briskly. This is a more advanced way of saying in a quick and energetic manner. She walked briskly to catch the bus before it left.
Because I walked here very briskly.
Or the server briskly cleared the table to make room for new customers. He spoke briskly, wanting to finish the meeting as quickly as possible. Adding adverbs will really make a sentence sound more advanced since they are optional in the sentence. Let's review solemnly because you may know this from movies. You will hear this a lot in movies or books. Solemnly. It means in a serious and formal manner. He solemnly promised to keep the secret. So if I read that in a book, I would understand more about the character. It shares a lot of information because I know he's promising in a formal or a serious way.
Solemnly promise I'll behave myself.
Or for example, the team stood solemnly during the national anthem. She solemnly handed over the resignation letter. So she did it in a very serious or formal way. Let's move on to some adjectives. Convoluted. Convoluted. This means complicated and difficult to understand. The instructions for assembling the furniture were so convoluted that I gave up. It sounds more advanced than complicated. His explanation of the situation was convoluted and hard to follow.
It was very convoluted.
Or you might complain and say the plot of the movie was too convoluted. Let's review jittery. Jittery, do you know this one? If you're jittery, it means that you're nervous or unable to relax. The students were jittery as they waited for their exam results. Have you been in that situation? You're waiting for a phone call or you're waiting for news or information and you're jittery. Or you might say, I always get jittery, become jittery. I always get jittery before a big presentation. I still do too.
Yep, just a little jittery.
Now, this is also used to describe a common side effect of too much caffeine. So you might say he drank too much coffee and started to feel jittery. In this case, your hands might actually shake or you might feel your heart beating, which is a side effect of caffeine that some people experience, including me. That's why I drink 1 cup per day or else I get jittery. Let's review quirky. Notice that pronunciation, quirky, quirky. This means unusual, but in an interesting or charming way. I instantly think of the character Phoebe from the TV show Friends. She's unusual, but in a lovable way, right? Or you might say she has a quirky sense of humor that always makes me laugh. That could be Phoebe. Or the cafe has a quirky decor. So here it's describing decor with mismatched chairs and colorful walls. So it's unusual to have mismatched chairs, but you like it. So you can describe it as quirky to show something unusual in a positive way. Or his quirky personality, so this describes personality, his quirky personality makes him stand out in a crowd.
But he's quirky.
Let's review finicky. This is a negative adjective. It describes someone who is picky or difficult to please. So you might say he's so finicky about his food that he won't eat anything with onions or with many different ingredients. Now, you can also use this to describe a tool or an object. The printer is finicky about jams if you don't load the paper just right. So it's saying the printer won't behave properly unless everything is perfect.
Careful with that card, it is a little bit finicky.
Or you might say she's a finicky dresser, which relates to clothing, of course. She's a finicky dresser and spends hours choosing the perfect outfit because she's very picky, but it sounds negative. It's not a positive adjective. Same with bland. This is a negative adjective, bland. This means lacking strong flavor or excitement. Commonly used to describe food. The soup is bland. It needs salt, herbs, and spices. That will give it flavor and excitement, right?
I know, it's bland.
Or this slide is a little bland. If you're creating a presentation or reviewing a presentation, this slide is a little bland. An image or some color would add interest. Or you can describe an entire room. The room was painted a bland shade of gray. So in this case, bland describes the color. A shade of gray that is dull and boring. I think gray is pretty much bland to begin with. I don't know if there's an exciting shade of gray, but in this case, a bland shade of gray. Now you have 20 advanced words in your vocabulary, and remember, you learned nouns, verbs, adjective, adverbs. You can combine these together in the same sentence, or you can use them individually. Do you want me to keep helping you improve your vocabulary? If you do, put let's go, put let's go in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And here's another lesson I know you'll love. Watch it now.